Folks, we are back. The Breakdown Boys at it once again. Sensei with me as always. What's up, brother?
Moose, what is up?
Chilling. As you can see, I'm in the holiday spirit. By the way, I have to do it.
Yes.
Shout out my boy Jay Swingler. Likes me more than he likes you, clearly, because he got me the merch. Hate on it all
Hey, he's
you
in my
want.
weight. He's in my weight class, so I don't know. That's
Shots
probably why, bro.
fired. Whoa. Okay,
dude.
Sensei coming back.
Listen.
Confirmed. Everybody asks me every day.
I know,
confirmed.
man.
Nah.
Listen, honestly, I said it. I'm retired, but the further I get away from a fight, the closer I am to another one, to be honest.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works.
That's how it works,
keep
bro.
pulling my man back in. And speaking of a guy coming back in after a long layoff, this is not something we usually talk about here on the Breakdown, but we dabble. We dabble a little bit in our MMA expertise. Conor McGregor is talking about making a comeback, and there's been some news. Yes, all of that. There's been some news about Conor's anatomical shift, some might say.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it, man. This week,
He went from
listen, muscles like that, you're stiff as a board, I'll snap you in half, to look at me.
Bro.
Look at the muscles on me, mate. He's huge.
It's ridiculous.
So there has been some speculation on the interwebs about Conor McGregor's size. Is this a real picture, by the way? I'm going to record this. There's no way this is a real picture, dog. I can't believe that this is real.
He looks. I haven't seen this picture yet, but he just looks so different, dude.
Just look at this, dude. What is this? Who is that?
Bruh.
Who is that? That's what
This
we're talking
man's
about, guys that are watching at home.
Yoked.
He is. I have no idea who this individual here is with his Christmas wrapping paper shirt on, but Conor is yacked.
That's
insane,
insane, dude.
That's wild. So that gives you an idea as to what we're talking. He looks like what John Cena played in that one movie where he was like the tattooed drug dealer. He looks like a bouncer.
Like a bodybuilder.
Yeah, he looks like a juice head monkey, the thing he used to make fun of.
He looks like the guy who says, like, bro, forget that MMA stuff, dude. I just see red when it goes crazy, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's what
that
he looks
MMA
like.
shit doesn't work in a street fight, bro.
Yeah, bro. He looks like a guy who can't fight. You know what I mean?
That MMA shit doesn't work when I fucking tear your eyeballs out. I'm like, okay, bro.
Bro, he is full.
He's yacked, bro. So okay. Context. Conor McGregor now coming back from an injury, obviously. And we're going to talk about the Artem Lobov stuff, which is just devastating, unfortunate stuff. But let's go into what we're trying to get to here. Conor basically has been accused of taking PEDs by the entirety of the MMA community, and then seemingly admitted to doing so by basically saying USADA knew what was happening, and then confirmed that USADA knew, which was crazy. And that he would be in the testing pool at an agreed upon point after all the stuff had, I assume, left his system. What are your thoughts on Conor McGregor basically saying, yeah, listen, dude, people knew about it, and I removed myself from the testing pool, and now I'm coming back?
Well, this is interesting because I think Anderson got popped for a similar thing around the time when he broke his leg.
Yep.
And it's football players all the time get popped with this thing, whereas I'm assuming it's growth hormone because when you have an injury,
you would think so.
It's a bone injury, right? You have all this structural damage, all this damage, and you want to increase the recovery time. You know, a little GH is typically the thing you go to.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
It's just you get some side effects, you know what I'm saying, from the growth hormone.
Forget side effects. You're getting side lats, brother. That man has got freaking windows on, son.
It's like, my leg's getting better, but you know what? Let me just, see if I can work on some benching here. Let me hit the weights a little bit more because while this is in my system, might as well utilize it.
Might as well.
But I guess that to me, this isn't a question of whether he's using, right? Because if he's not, he literally broke the Guinness World Record of the craziest transformation with naturally.
Ridiculous.
Right. So
the question is this, and I know what you're going to say.
Are you okay with it?
Are you okay with it?
Right. And I am, in the sense that, at least I think when it comes to recovery,
right,
they should allow like GH. I mean, you talk about someone like what's the baseball player, dude? Trout.
Yeah.
he took growth hormone as a kid because he needed it, right? And then
Yep.
people argue whether he should. I'm like,
Same
bro,
with Messi. Messi had the same issues, and people are like,
correct,
"Oh, now he's a super athlete." Like, no, bro, it doesn't. No.
right. So it is tricky though, because obviously like Connor's transformation, but it's a lot. It is. I will say it's a lot different than popping somebody in prep in camp
Yeah,
for a fight. And to me, I think it's less so much like growth hormone is one thing. Hormone is one thing, but to me, like the EPOs and things that like increase like your energy production and your cardiovascular and your respiratory, those things I think are worse almost in MMA because
I
of the
agree.
gas tank. That's like a really different superpower there. When it comes to conditioning, right, and your cardio. And obviously strength is important, but I don't know. I'm just he did it during recovery time. He's been out. If he gets off of it and he's back into the pool and whatever, I just think it should be allowed for extenuating. Like a lot of people don't come back from an injury like
No,
this. It's
no,
over.
it's it.
So
And that's the hard
whatever.
part too. Like, I don't blame Conor either for taking whatever was taken to help recover this thing, because quite frankly, you're talking about someone's livelihood. Like, not that he's going to have to make a living with MMA, but that he's going to have to live after MMA, right? He's going to have to just walk and play with kids and stuff that he even he addressed on his Twitter. But the problem I think that a lot of people have is they look at it as cheating because he's been on this stuff now. Does it? I don't know the half-lives and how stuff, we'd have to get Derek for more plates, more dates on this and see exactly like how it's going to affect him coming back into the UFC. And other guys that haven't done this, that haven't been able to say, oh, I'm just going to come out of the pool. And that's another thing. USADA knew basically and said, yeah, you can go out of the pool, even though, even those guys that are still not fighting are still being tested, right? Because they're not officially retired. Conor wasn't officially retired. They're not fighting and they're being tested. Conor was not.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that people are upset about. They're like, well,
That's pretty slimy.
Why is it that Conor wasn't tested if he's not a retired fighter and he's not removing himself? He was removed for a specific period. USADA knew about it. That's the stuff. And I don't blame Conor for that. I blame USADA for that.
I'll be back, guys. I'll be right back.
Right. And fair play.
BRB.
I would do the same thing. And that other guys don't. And like, it's almost like a pay to win type thing because Conor has the money to do it. Some other guys may not.
Right.
But that's the game you play if you're a superstar and you have that kind of money. The same reason that I think Logan Paul has talked about, he's going to get stem cell therapy on his, by the way, we got an update on that. His MCL was the only thing that was torn. He didn't have a triple tear, so that's good.
That's very nice.
And he's going to be trying to wrestle in 6 weeks, apparently. So, again,
he could do it. MCL, he could do it.
MCL, yeah. And again, he's going to go get stem cell stuff, and that stuff is great. You have the money to do it. Why the fuck not, right? So I'm never going to blame a fighter, going to blame an athlete. I've always been pro athletes protecting their bodies because they do such dangerous stuff. These sports are so dangerous that years down the line, when guys are old and gone and their time has passed, this is the sad thing, and I can speak to this in my own stuff. No one gives a fuck after you mean something to them.
Yeah, facts.
So when Conor's done and he goes back to his life and the UFC moves on and he's 40, 50, 60 and he's got a leg that's dangling like a piece of noodle.
Yep.
Because he wasn't taking the PEDs because he wanted to honor the code. This is why I rock with Chael so much for being so open about his usage. It's like, okay, he's the bad guy. He did it, but his quality of life will be better later. The only issue is transparency from USADA. You can't allow Conor to do it and not allow other guys if they're doing it.
Yeah, that's where you get. Obviously, that's not okay.
No,
but I agree. I think when it comes to like using stuff, there's like, okay, if I have an injury and I'm using pain management for a fight because of my injury, so I can get to the fight, is different than I'm gonna take this pain stuff so I don't feel anything during the fight, so I can perform better. It's just the context is different, so it's not right in that sense, but it's a lot different. It's not the same.
And the same token, people are going to say, well, the lasting effects of what Conor did during that time will help him in the fight. And you're right. Yeah, it will. But again, I don't blame the athlete if they have an exemption or they go to the people that are supposed to regulate this shit and say, hey, can I do this? They say, sure, just come out of what. I don't know what the conversation was, but if Conor is the one doing that to elevate his leg and then possibly elevate his game, I understand it's not against it, or I understand it is against the rules for most guys, but if it's not going to be arbitrarily across the board lined out, that's not a problem with Conor. It's a problem with the USADA testing pool and Nowitzki and everybody else that's involved. So you can point the finger at Conor because he was the guy that's, everybody wants to say, oh, you cheater, whatever. But a ton of athletes with the same thing in other sports have done this.
All the time. Dude.
NBA, NFL. You don't think these guys are peptided to the gills. And I don't blame them. Why wouldn't you be?
The NBA is crazy because the NBA, for some reason, just no one gets popped, dude. Like,
right.
It's
never.
They're so good.
It's only weed. Stay off the weed.
Right. Yeah,
That's
okay.
it. That's the only thing. But I guess bringing the conversation home, like, yeah, if you want to be upset at Conor for taking PEDs to heal his leg and the benefits of those PEDs to then enhance whatever he wants to bring back to the cage, fine. That's okay. But just know that under the rule set he was provided, he was not breaking USADA testing because they allowed him to be out of the pool. You got to point the finger at USADA or Dana White the same way they did with Brock Lesnar when he came back and didn't have to be in the pool.
Exactly, dude.
You got to point the finger there too, because if Brock is coming back and they tell him he doesn't have to be, why would he be? It is what it is.
That.
But this sport is so dangerous that you do have to regulate it across the board. You can't give exemptions out to guys and not others. That's the problem. Fighter safety is my big thing. And if Conor's juiced to the gills for a period, then comes back and fucking smokes someone, it's not going to be a good look for USADA. It really isn't. Because you're going to point the finger and say, you got that guy hurt badly. Because Conor is now a fucking Terminator machine.
Bro, it's ridiculous.
Like some of the pictures are nuts, dude. Some of the pictures are nuts.
I thought that was him. It was freaking Liver King. I thought it was Conor.
There he is, Conor with a beard, bro.
It was Conor McGregor right there.
Speaking of Liver King, man, I wonder if he's supplying him. Did you see the news, by the way, on that?
No, I just saw like a picture.
Liver King was on $12,000 worth of HGH per month, buddy.
Oh wow, human growth hormone. Interesting. Doesn't look like it at all.
Nah, not at all. Not that his muscles are about to come out of his skin. No, not at all. But also, let's talk about this.
Anabolic and growth hormone. His face is different. Every guy on a growth hormone has a beard to cover their jaw. Like, okay. Look what happened with Conor. It's a perfect example. Conor takes his beard off. We're like, oh.
I know. Yeah, who the fuck is that guy?
That is the secret.
Here's the other thing with Conor, man, and we'll wrap up here. Did you see that Artem Lobov has now sued Conor McGregor and also won for, I guess, payment on the branding of Proper 12 or the idea.
Okay, I heard about that.
There's also now a defamation suit against Conor McGregor from Artem Lobov, and it's just a sad scene, man, because Conor and Artem were the dynamic duo, right? They called Artem the GOAT because he would just get his ass whipped, but he would be there. He would just stay around. And there's so many legendary stories of Conor just before fights getting warmed up in the back by just beating the living fuck out of Artem Lobov before he walked out to a fight. And that's why he turned it on from round one. He was just ready. He'd be 2 rounds in after just whipping Artem in the back, And so it's sad to see the dynamic dudes go down. The Russian Hammer, I don't know what comes of it. He says he came up with the name, and there's a lot of accusations being thrown around. But
all I heard on Twitter was rat. Like he was just saying in his accent. I just rolled my tongue.
Rat, you rat.
He just kept saying
rat. He kept calling him a rat.
In audio.
Yeah, he said, Artem is a rat. Hey, Artem is, yeah. It's unfortunate, though, man, because they came up together, and that's got to be a personal relationship that's just dead. So I don't know what's going on there. It does seem like in some way Conor is enhancing himself, and unfortunately Artem is missing out on a lot. So hopefully they can get that sorted, but is Conor in the wrong for taking, I don't want to say steroids, but in some way a performance-enhancing drug? I say no. Sensei says no. Put it on USADA, but you guys let us know down below. What do you think?